Hey everybody, how's it going? We got some StarCraft on the menu for today. Coming at you live from Korea, it's going to be Zombie Grub, joined by me, live from Canada, I guess. I got a lame intro for mine. How you doing, Zombie Grub? Oh, you are muted. Good start. Wait, that might be my end. Yes, it is. Alright, go again. What's up, Zombie Grub?
I'm alright. Different question that time.
Yeah. So that was actually... I was trying to find out what the sound was. I thought that was you for a second. That's why I had some questions about you, whether you're muted or not. Stupid Nova shifting around with her gun made it sound like someone was opening like a bag of chips. And I'm like, wow, that's being really rude right now. Ask you how you're doing. You're just like, I'm casually eating instead of answering. Like,
I do have food with me, but it's not a bag of chips.
I'm jealous. Are you in, by the way, are you in the same spot? Like, do you manage to just lock down the same section of the PC bong you go to every time?
Well, the first time I was actually back there, which I think is better because if that means that people fill in behind me or in front of me, then the mic doesn't pick it up. So now that they're behind me, it's like more of a chance that it will. But yes, this is the same spot as last time.
Okay.
It's the corner.
By the way, just got confirmation. First matches will be on North America. So any of the games today, we'll go over the players and all this in a second, guys. But real quick, I guess half the games today are going to be on North America. Any ones that involve Kelazhur or Bjorn. For those who don't know, playing in the group today, Kelazhur versus SortOf will be the first matchup of the day, followed up by Bjorn versus Mana. This is a group that was meant to play out a couple days ago. This is not replays. These are all going to be live games. But due to the fact that Bjorn had to go accept his esports Korea 2016 or whatever award it was called, he wasn't able to play and they had to reschedule the group, which ended up working out for the best anyways because the group was scheduled during the balance patch. So I guess this is the best of everybody's world, question mark.
Sure. Yeah.
Anyways, I see the players online, just waiting for the actual French casters to come join us. I think they're still in Europe after telling us all to move over, so awkward over there. Good to see some friendly faces in chat. What's up, Nathanius? How you doing? I don't know if he's still lurking. We even had Rapid Casting come stop by for a bit of a visit, and of course a lot of our regular subs. Good to see you guys all this morning, and I hope you're doing well. The brackets command has been updated as best we can. It just links to the Liquipedia page because there's not really like a proper like tournament bracket format thing to link to. But there we go. Kelazhur's online now too. So yeah, we'll get this going in just a moment or two's time. As far as BaseTradeTV stuff goes, I hope you guys enjoyed the broadcast or the rebroadcast last night. Some people had requested we rebroadcast something, so I was like, why not rebroadcast the Top Dogs group leading into this one? Because it is all on the new balance patch, as things are very different now in StarCraft.
Yep. I am looking at my Apple. Man, I don't usually this isn't like a Korea thing. I don't think anyway. I just really wanted an apple lately.
An apple?
Fresh apple.
Is that
Look at
apple
it.
in a
Fresh.
plastic bag?
Yeah, it's the really fancy apple. I don't know.
I heard apples come in their own wrappers, though. The skin and all that? That's like bananas and those stupid little banana protectors? Like...
Yeah, I mean, I get it at a CVS, so maybe that's why. I feel like if I got it at a grocery store, it wouldn't be a problem.
Maybe. We just got a resub. Thank you very much to Roycicle. Or Roysal. Sorry. Looks like bicycle when I read it. Roysal, 9 months. Says Twitch Prime for the win. Nice, dude. Get that free money. Minions also resubbed 2 months ago. Snow Python resubbed 22 months, 18 minutes ago. No One Brain subbed, and Twitch Trope, I guess, as well. Twitch Troopa, excuse me, during the rebroadcast. Good to see you guys. But let me get some game sounds on and fixed, and of course turn all this off. We played our co-op missions yesterday, for those who missed it. The Turkey Thanksgiving foul play co-op was perhaps one of the sillier but fun things to watch. The description in our Twitch page actually has the most up-to-date VOD if you don't want to go navigate your way through our YouTube, but I hope you'll check it out. Kelazhur... I can't spell his name correctly. There we go. Versus SortOf. Bjorn versus Mana. Boom. Tweet's been made. Get on Twitter. Do the retweet thing, guys. And nobody bot me today, please. I don't know what that was about. That wasn't even like if you're going to bot somebody Twitter stuff, do it big. Go big or go home, right? Whoever botted like 15 Twitter likes and like 5 Twitter retweets? Who does that? Why? How much did that even cost you? Like $5? Was that? I'm not sure if it's supposed to be helpful or insulting. Either way, like if you guys are real,
Well,
love some retweets.
it's a way to do it without being noticed, exactly. Which is what everyone
You try to be
wants.
like super like guerrilla marketing with your like Twitter like retweets. Like Johnson, if we go too big, everyone's gonna know it's fake. But if we do it too little, nobody will notice it at all. So we gotta go somewhere in between.
Yeah, exactly.
I wonder how much does that even cost? Hang on. What was you buying Twitter retweets? I don't know if that
You heard it
would
here
work.
first. Rifkin's buying retweets.
Man, there's actual websites for this. I didn't even believe this. I mean, like, I know people buy Twitter followers. We've seen that throughout, like, our career of people buying Twitter followers. People have tried to buy us Twitter followers, right? You can get 1,000 retweets for $5? Hang on. This website says you get 1,000 retweets for $5.89. That means whoever fucking bought, like, 30 likes and, like, 12 retweets went super cheap. What'd you spend, like, 50 cents? Am I only worth 50 cents to you? What the
I feel like packages don't come that small, so what probably happened was they had like 12 different accounts.
Maybe that could, you know what? That probably makes a little more sense. It's just a funny thing for me, I guess, because for us, there's actually no benefit to trying to buy that sort of stuff. Like our own value is what we market to our sponsors, and if we can't deliver or we can't like, look, we got 11K followers, but really like 2K of those are probably fake because somebody bought us followers like forever ago. We don't know if they've been deleted or not, but like it's really hard when you guys do stuff like that. So I don't know whether people do it maliciously or like blindly, supportively, in a mistakenly way. Either way, I guess it's not something we've had to deal with too often. Thank you. Who is this? Alrice?
Is this what you're gonna do
All the
every
rice.
single time?
All the rice is resubbed for 4 months for all the rice reasons. 2.5 weeks till Korea. Hype. No, I'm just kidding. That's hilarious, guys. Her name's Annie in real life. She's super freaking adorable, and I'm pretty sure Kenzie took about 1 million pictures of her during Home Story Cup. I'm actually surprised he managed to take any pictures of pros with all this time he spent taking pictures, tweeting pictures of Annie. But thank you, Annie, for that resub. Yeah, she's going to be in Korea hanging out with Zombie Grub, I guess. Or do you guys actually have plans? I don't know.
I mean, she's going to come to Korea, and then we are going to hang out. There's no specific plans.
No, I mean, plans would be just like, are you actually planning to meet up or not? I'm not trying to like sell this crazy thing where you're like, yeah, actually, Rifkin, we got beef, and I'm not going to see her at all. She's here on purpose. Like,
Yeah, you made it kind of weird, man. Like, what the fuck?
yeah. Either way, I guess that is worth noting as a proper sidestep here. Zombie Grub's staying in Korea, and she's going to be attending IEM live. Now, whether she's casting there or not remains to be seen, but we'll be doing all the qualifiers over the next 3 or 4 days. So make sure you guys come back, because they're all going to be at super late hours of the night. 1 a.m. Hi!
Just perfect for me.
It's perfect for
Cast
you.
in the apartment.
It's perfect for you. For me, I'm going to have to like chug some NyQuil as soon as we're done with this, so I can go to sleep and wake up in time for it. Like,
Well, you know, I mean, like, we finish at 7 in the morning in Korea, and then it starts at 6 p.m. Wait, you have to go to sleep right after this is done? That's not true.
well,
You'd have 16 hours of sleep or something. No, wait. No, I
maybe
can't do
I'll
that.
just wake up and chug more NyQuil. You
11
don't know.
hours of sleep.
Maybe I'm going to get like the best sleep I've ever had in my whole dang life.
Maybe you will. Well, we're still waiting on the go-ahead, even though everyone is just about ready. Come on now.
Yeah. So we're in the lobby for Galactic Process, and once all the players are good to go, we're going to be good to go, guys. I guess we're waiting on... I don't know. I was going to write... I don't know who we're waiting on, but just saying we're ready whenever everyone else is. That's the polite way of saying go, 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 go.
It's the not Korean way of saying go, 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 go.
Yeah, I love the Koreans like they just start spamming going. Like watching Innovation during VSL and like even some of the other stuff like you guys couldn't see on stream, we could see like them just spamming like go, 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 go.
Yeah. Okay, now it's up to the plate. I don't know.
Hey, that got the
Yeah,
ball
whatever.
rolling, I guess.
Yeah,
Got
you did.
things started, and let's get into it. Kelazhur versus SortOf TvZ. Reminding everybody again, this is on the new balance part of StarCraft 2. So this is tanks can no longer be picked up. These are banelings that possibly have 10 extra health. You know, that sort of thing.
Yep. This guy has been doing this. He's been here for like 4 hours. This guy to the left of me, and about every 45 minutes, I say, he just gets on the floor and kind of like starts to fall asleep.
Oh, I thought this was gonna be like
Serious.
he starts stretching and it's awkward or something.
No, he just like gets on the floor and then like puts his chair in the way of my exit, but it's fine.
Okay, that's awkward. I wonder if that's a common thing to see. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Top Dogs cast. Rifkin and Zombie are coming at you here with Group C. Spawning on the bottom left side of the map, we got the red Zerg player, SortOf.
In the top, that's a top. In the top right has the blue Terran. He is Kelazhur.
Thank you to Math Man for the 7-month resub, and a Magic Monkey asks, is there stream delay again? Unfortunately, yes, we are back to regular standards of practice for broadcasting. We're not able to be live with you all. It was good, it was fun while it was lasting, but unless events are live, unless events are on a location or through replays, you're not going to see us be able to cast without delay too often, which is definitely sad. I really wish we could cast without delay more. It would require like a whole overwork of the in-game stuff, like somehow StarCraft would have to be on the delay and then we could cast live, but sadly, this is the one time, the only aspect of StarCraft that I find League of Legends to be superior in. Feels sad, man.
Well, I mean, the client of League of Legends is probably superior in almost every way. I don't know about interface, I guess, design-wise, because I haven't opened up League of Legends in a really long time, but you can watch games on ladder games, and they tell you about esports all the time, and...
So, I agree with all this, but I want to talk more about the 3 barracks coming down, and specifically the fact that this is great because it's Galactic Process. It's a map where Reapers have been good for in the past, but this is interesting for a couple different reasons. One, Reapers haven't been changed. This is going to be almost the exact same dynamic as pre-patch situations, so this isn't much different. But secondly, SortOf is playing at a bit of a disadvantage. I'm not sure what the rules were to make it so, but all the North American games are playing in North America. So the fact that Kelazhur's playing in North America, I guess, coming to North America, SortOf's playing off server, might lag a little bit. Not fun to deal with when you're dealing with Reapers.
No, that's certainly true. I mean, it's Galactic Process, it's a Terran, it's Kelazhur. Yeah. The 3-rack Reaper should have been expected, and I think it was. SortOf is already on his way to Queens. It is a question of that micro, though. Can he deal with it effectively in the early stages? And he's going to go for roaches to try and help.
I mean, another part of this, too, that I like out of Kelazhur is we are seeing some weird games, we're going to say, out of the late game Terran. We cast an entire group where Terran did not look good with mech at all, versus Zerg, versus Protoss, and even versus other Terran, right? Like, Terran feels very lost this patch, where maybe some of these older tactics are just the better ones to go with. Like, you're better off trying to win a game with 3-rack Reaper than you are with tanks and Cyclones.
Yeah, I'm not really...
Ooh.
I certainly don't like playing
Ooh.
mech versus Zerg, but I've never liked that, so I don't know about what it's going to look like for the pros.
Not a good start there for Kelazhur, by the way, losing one of those Reapers very early.
No. I mean, it's going to expand off of this, but it is not the, like, quick expand after, like, the non-committal 3-rack Reaper, basically, which is... I guess it's an oxymoron, but still. I mean, the point is, losing your first Reaper really, like, stops the snowball effect. And SortOf, the Lings just fodder here. The Roaches are on the way out. That should be enough. Even though Kelazhur has a decent number of Reapers. They have 7.
It's a really interesting choice to scan for that creep tumor. I'm not sure what that was about. A bit of a pause required. I mean, it does, I guess, he's trying to disconnect the creep that would connect to the natural, thus giving him a bit more control on the ramp. And I like that idea, but as we see, this queen just plops down another one.
Yeah, I don't really like it, especially on Galactic Process. I mean, I get it because he did, you know, make quite a few Reapers. He's committing to this, and this command center is only just now coming down. If it was Frozen Temple, I would like it, because I think that the abuse on the ramp is a lot more effective on that map than Galactic Process.
Well, this almost kills one. It does kill one of the Roaches pretty quick. His Ravager's out now, though, and of course Ravagers are a lot more deadly than Roaches thanks to their range. Thank you to Kappa Shit and T Campbell for those resubs, guys. You're both awesome. Thanks for that continued support. As the Reapers continue to fight, though, it's increasingly more difficult. Unless you can take control of that ramp and force those units up them, up this ramp or over here, just some sort of choke where you can use the grenades more effectively. I mean, as we see, they'll pounce when they can, but it's really difficult to pounce. Ravagers and Roaches hit so damn hard. Now, you pointed out he did expand behind this, right? Like, 3rd CC, natural base,
Sure.
like, he's really going to try and play this out. And the Reapers are going to be limited in opportunity to use them, but if they can keep sort of at home and not push, not attack, then he's going to be fine.
Yeah, I mean, the question always is it effective enough 3-axe opener? Because, of course, if they win, then that's, obviously it was effective, but it doesn't usually become a win now that Zergs have really figured out the way to deal with it. It's just a question of, does it do enough to make the 3 command centers behind it safe? Does it do enough to give you a bit of an edge? I would say it did enough to make 3CC safe. I don't think it gave Kelazhur too much of an edge, unless he can continue to, deny the 3rd base, for instance, which is very possible. I mean, this is a pretty decent hit squad. The Reapers don't have to sacrifice themselves. They can come back in later with the bio, with a stim.
Yeah, natural base is finished up. 3rd's finishing 2. There's a lot of grenades coming down top of that ramp. Oh man, those Roaches take a lot of damage. It's very tempting to take this fight, but I know it's worth bleeding out the Reapers. A big part of this for Kelazhur is not killing that army. It's not winning the game with the Reapers. It is, again, keeping SortOf at home and not pushing across the map. Not looking to go for that attack. Because SortOf, he wouldn't have much to stop him, right? There's like a handful of Marines that aren't going to have stim. Kelazhur has to buy a lot of time.
Yeah, you'd have to really commit as a Zerg player to actually attack across the map, though, just because there would be so many grenades, unless they literally gave you all their Reapers, which Kelazhur wasn't. Yeah, Kelazhur wasn't going to commit that hard. If he did, then yes, that is. He's too good at 3-axe Reaper to make that mistake. Hopefully, he did cut by 3, I think, which means that this hit squad isn't as scary as it was in terms of surprise and coming in as the second drop or the second attack along with a medevac drop. But I do like how active he's keeping the Reapers. So they might not be doing serious amounts of damage, but that they're not all dying at least. They're still kind of a threat to the queens that go forward and the creep spread to the creep spread itself. Actually, just mistimed the jump there.
By the way, set guitars to kill in chat says Galactic Process, not the new map pool ? So no, it's been confirmed that because the first 2 groups played out on this map pool, the last 2 will as well, but they will be using the new map pool in the round of 8.
So this is kind of interesting. I mean, I wondered, right, as someone who wants to go bio versus Zerg, if Roach Hydra would make a reappearance. I think it is more likely to do so on maps where you're forced to go Roaches in the first place, which Galactic Process, the 3-axe Reaper maps, right? But even not what if I was gonna say Daybreak because there was something in the new map pool, but what if the other maps are also good for Roach Hydra now that Hydras have had that little buff?
Yeah, there's a lot of question marks. I mean, the thing about the patch, as cool as it is for all these new things, a lot of it's still theoretical, as nobody. It's a week into it still, not even. It's 4 days into it. People are still figuring a lot of things out. By the way, big thank you to Jesse from Ting for that resub, as well as Mubuntu. Clap, you monkeys! Clap.
Thank you. Well, the drop, not too scary of a drop, I gotta say, and the Reapers aren't comboing with it at all, so it's probably just gonna clear up creep, but I am really glad that Kelazhur is showcasing bio because, I mean, we said it earlier, but that last,
good.
Yeah, it wasn't terrible. It wasn't what are you doing? Stop going for that. But it was just kind of well, it's not convincing that it's a better way to go, so why not just stick to your standard?
One of the issues, though, I mean, Hydra is, let's talk about them for a second, right? That +2 range, the speed on creep, these things got a lot of really nice tweaks to them in the patch. And, well, Hydras are perhaps not the only unit. You still need a layer of Roaches and Ravagers to go with them, sure. Of course, Infestors comboing are going to be the best, but they're so much better than they were in the past. So even things like bio might not cut it. We're going to find out.
Well, it is going to be, I think, a question of how Hydras, how good the Hydras are. Galactic Process is a very good tank map, though, in general. So it was good against when you had to go Roach Ravager. It was decent when you go Mutilating Bling. It was a choice. I think it's still, it was the answer to Roach Hydra in Heart of the Swarm. I mean, it's really a question of how good are the Hydras now.
Tanks are questionable whether they're good or not versus Hydras right now, because they didn't really gain much versus them, but it's still range, it's still splash damage. I think when I looked at Galactic Process, though, I still look at the aspect of this and say Liberators for all the chokes more than anything else. Like Liberators with range, okay, Hydras, you got a bit of a buff. You're still gonna die trying to reach those Liberators, trying to move through those ramps.
Yeah, Liberators will be added on eventually, but right for the early to mid game, I definitely like the tanks and like a good number of tanks too. I would rather a second factory as opposed to faster Liberators personally, and on Galactic Process. But there's a lot of things not going like super great for Kelazhur. So for instance, he only has 2 tanks, and not like that good amount that I'm talking about that can actually like hold a position. And his upgrades are quite far behind.
Yeah, I'm thinking of the idea of the factories for the tanks. I'm not convinced, but only because the mech games we saw looked so bad. We obviously haven't seen them paired up with Bio, so maybe that is the way to go with Bio.
Yeah, I mean, I am basing this off. Oh, that's actually a pretty good trade here.
This is a really nice catch. Though a lot of the Hydras in the middle of the map. 2-2's not done, so this is a big catch. As 2-2's so close to finishing, if he gets those Evo Chambers, big denial on those upgrades here. And Kelazhur's going to stop the weapon upgrades, lower some of that damage, get the base snipe. And even if the tanks go down, I'd say this attack was worth it.
I agree. The Hydras are really caught off guard and not enough roach. You know, it was a bad split that sort of didn't know he had to make, as he didn't notice the army. So that was definitely the best thing about that attack. It wasn't the size of it, it wasn't the composition, it was just that it was kind of a surprise.
The downside of this, though, Kelazhur tried to use that as an opening to attack into the gold simultaneously, and I like that, but it was cleaned up, unfortunately. So he doesn't really have that big of an army back at home. His production's not going to match that of SortOf's, and his rally's certainly not good enough to stop this attack. So when the rocks break down, will Kelazhur lose his 3rd, and potentially 4th plus sensor tower? Oh god, this is an expensive investment.
Yeah. Well, he's trying to get something prepped here. I mean, the tank's kind of behind a little bit of Sim City. That would certainly help, but it's only 1 tank. The SCVs have to go, Cursor Bile. That exists. That's a good tank.
Yeah, when you can't pick it up and jump it around. The sensor tower not canceled. Command center is canceled. This base lifts up. I think if he buys a little bit more time, he can clean this up. But still losing 22 SCVs already.
Yeah, this is looking like game. I mean, he obviously has a decent economy to fall back on 4 bases. Kelazhur knows he wasn't able to kill that 4th, and I don't know. This was just this felt more like just, you know, a maneuver that didn't quite work out as good as it looked. Like, I'm hesitant to blame Hydras for this, or even Kelazhur's bio, I suppose, because right now in the first week of a recent patch, you're looking for things to blame for being OP or too weak now.
One of the things that is worth noting, so Hydra's got a range upgrade, they didn't get a damage upgrade, and what's cool to watch even here is lots of... Okay, we got double shoutouts going on again, we'll fix that in a second. I was just going to mention real quick though, Medivacs can heal through Hydra damage pretty nicely, and if you got enough Medivacs, in the past that was like one way to deal with it certainly. But unfortunately, not if you don't have any units. Like, you can heal all the Marines in the world, but if you've only got like 5, it doesn't matter so much.
Yeah, that's a pretty big difference.
So, I'll get you to turn your Twitch alerts off again, maybe? Unless, are they already off?
That's not on, I didn't bother.
Then why is it doubling up again? Okay, well, I'll look into starting that later. Who was that? Hamel Camel, $3.14. Thank you very much. It's because I had a lot of pie yesterday. I do not feel sexy, Cap. That's right, I guess, yeah, American Thanksgiving was yesterday. Hope you guys all had some good food, turkey, mashed potatoes, etc.
Kind of missing Thanksgiving meals.
Gets cancel on the hatchery. Gonna pick up and get out of there. Unfortunately, gonna abandon a lot of units to do so. I still think this is a situation where Kelazhur can't recover from the damage that was done earlier. I mean, mules are good, don't get me wrong, but 35 SCVs, 55 army, there's just not a lot that adds up to a good number here for Kelazhur, which sort of is actually on his way to possibly maxing out.
Oh yeah, it's totally game over, which is why I was just like, you know, I wasn't even really paying attention to what was happening in the game anymore. Just like Kelazhur is going to try and drop with, you know, 1 medevac full of units. That's great. It's not enough though. I guess since he's not being broken right now, there's no reason to tap out. But it is like a question of, well, why waste your stamina? Why get potentially more tilted when you know the game is over? But a 3-base Terran with medevacs, man, you can never underestimate them.
Well, thank you, Natharus, for the 18-month resub. No message, but kicking it off here towards the end of this game. Also, just a general shout out, because I see him in chat, Tom KD for all the bits yesterday. That guy and Istarun were real heroes. And I guess for those who don't know, we do have bits finally enabled. That's not like a, oh, you guys should probably use them or anything. I'm just mentioning it because we've had no bits for the last, well, since they're introduced, frankly.
Yep. I'm a little surprised. I guess I just mentioned that Kelazhur's not being broken right now, but, you know, the blame is kind of on SortOf to not having broke Kelazhur.
I do wonder, though, there's a lot of situations where we see StarCraft 2 and we talk about, like, okay, one player gave the other too much time to recover. And Kelazhur's army has certainly recovered, but it is going to only be one army, and I think that's what a big part of this is. I mean, sure, there's tanks set up here and they're going to blow away the roaches, but here come the blinding clouds, here come the abducts, that sort of thing. Maybe sort of loses this army. He's got the bank, the minerals, and the income to make another one. Kelazhur does not.
Yeah. If the tanks had all been firing right there, the blind clouds didn't come down, he probably wins this fight straight up, because he missed like a good 4 or 5 tank shots.
I'm also wondering, like, had this army stayed at home, would the biome have actually been enough to overcome the Hydras and then counter it with everything instead of just running around with this, you know, triple drop setup? I mean, don't get me wrong, this is fine. This just killed another base, but I don't think this is going to be enough to win the game. Again, production out of SortOf is just going to be fantastic.
Yep. This should be the point of, yeah, GG.
All right, game 1 goes to SortOf. Really impressive, too, considering he is playing on the away field. Once again, coming to North America is never preferable for any European. Some don't mind it so much, but I think at the end of the day, they all know it's not the greatest option.
Yeah, that's why you go Roach Hydra, though. No micro necessary, am I right, guys? Right.
Well, regardless of whatever that snootiness was aside, we'll find out what map 2 is shortly. We're going to go to a quick commercial break while we do, though, guys. So thank you for sticking with us. 2 minutes. We'll see you soon. Looks like that bits bait worked out perfectly. Thank you to Tom KD. He hits us up with 500 bits. Good to see you again, man. Justin Bob for 3 bits, and Kilari Chatal for 20 months on that resub. Hopefully I said it right for the first time ever. I don't know. Says thanks for all the StarCraft fun. Thank you guys for watching and supporting the channel. But we're going to get into this game. And in the bottom right side, he's currently down 1 game in this best of 3 for the preliminary matches of the day. The blue team player from Root Gaming, Kelazhur.
In the top left, as the red Zerg, he is SortOf.
And again, just reminding people, SortOf is coming from Europe. They're playing on North America. I could have guessed East Coast? Was it Control-F? No, Central. Interesting. Kelazhur is, of course, playing from West Coast.
Yeah, I guess this would favor Kelazhur then, right?
Should. It's like a little bit, but like a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Well, obviously it didn't play that much of a part. Like, the defense of the 3x Reaper was pretty solid by SortOf, and it should be again here, as we have probably another one. It's Frozen Temple, and this is where I would say the 3x Reaper is better. This is probably the best map with 3x Reaper.
Well, for me, we started talking about this even before the new patch hit, but 3x Reaper is starting to become more of a standard opening. Kind of like how back in the day, Maru would always 2-racks, right? And it would always be part of an actual macro follow-up to it. Kelazhur, I don't really see him unless he gets really, really ahead early on, over-dedicating to it. And we'll probably see what happened last game. I think one of the biggest downsides to what happened in game 1 wasn't the 3-racks Reaper. It wasn't that he had too slow of a follow-up. It was the army engagements and the choices to use them in that particular way. I think Hydras with their extra range are certainly catching a lot of Terran players off guard, but had Kelazhur played that a little bit more conservative in some of those fights, maybe he would have had the bigger army sustainably alive later on. It's hard to say because it's a lot of what-ifs, but I don't think the Reaper opening is what killed him, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I agree. The Reaper was not what killed him. I'd definitely pinpoint that one, what looked to be a very good surprise, like killing the attack upgrade, and say that actually did not do enough damage for what the army ended up trading out for. That's kind of where the snowball started in favor of SortOf. So I do think the Frozen Temple, not only better for 3x Reaper, more potential to snowball into a win, but also better for the tank follow-up. I think there'd be less cases of I'm hoping less cases of Kelazhur kind of like blitzing towards a base to kill it and then lose army for it. Instead, a really solid push down the middle.
By the way, a very different start to this. Kelazhur last game did lose one of his Reapers early on to perhaps a bit of miscontrol. Because he wasn't dedicating to the Reapers, it wasn't devastating, but this time he gets a drone to start, and that's way better for him right off the bat.
That's true. The Roach Ravager combo should probably still be enough to deal with it without taking too much more.
Ideally, yeah. I think another problem, too, is there's a lot of links still roaming around, so there's a lot of fodder he has to get through before he can even really attack much. The grenades will be the priority for a little bit. Maybe he tries to go behind the mineral line, be kind of greedy to go for those drones. It'd be nice to kill 1 or 2, but you'll lose all your Reapers for it.
Yeah, it's always... It's tempting for the inexperienced Reaper player, I would say, to go for the drone line after the first 2 Reapers, basically.
It's a little bit like dinner, right? You're looking at all this delicious food for dinner and what's on the plate in front of you, not thinking about dessert, when really all you should be doing is thinking about dessert.
I would actually put it the opposite way, where you see all the healthy vegetables, and instead you go for, like, the, whatever, banana cream pie behind it, whatever.
Yeah, maybe some people like vegetables, though, okay?
Oh, I love vegetables, but sometimes you really want the pumpkin pie. Pumpkin pie, oh god.
White girl in Korea. Do they even have pumpkin spice like lattes over there? Is that an American thing?
You know, I haven't seen pumpkin spice lattes, but I've also only went to 1 Starbucks. So.
Well, a big part of this for Kelazhur is not being able to get control of that ramp means you can't do too much more with the Reapers. But as we see, a very similar follow-up to the last game. It's not about dedicating with the Reapers, it's about getting that 3rd CC, getting that stim timing going.
Yeah, exactly. And I do... Okay, so we go to the 3cc again, which I would say actually, like, maybe the 3rd cc is better on Galactic Process. Of course, they have the rocks, so it's, like, literally protected as a 3rd command center, but also just, I think waiting longer, like, more of a macro game in Galactic Process would have benefited Kelazhur. I actually think that if he had gone for 2-base tank push and held off in the 3rd cc on Frozen Temple, maybe it does more damage. Of course, you can never be sure, sort of probably, you know, defends it all the time, but the point is, I actually like that better. But he did choose the 3rd CC. Doesn't mean that they can't do aggression with tanks. It's just going to be a full minute later. Maybe even 2.
You know, one of the cool things I like about when you keep enough of these Reapers alive is the follow-up can obviously have a couple of these in the main army fight. You throw out some grenades. It looks funny watching Banelings and Roaches jump, but they're kind of, in a small way, their own drop. Like, if you're actually pressuring hard here to the south and just going to rally the Reapers to, like, the main mineral line, they can get some very serious damage done when players aren't paying attention.
Yeah. I mean, they continuously get canceled on the 3rds of Zergs that aren't paying attention, aren't taking it seriously enough, so... they do have a lot of potential even still. The follow-up from, I mean, without tanks, just with the bio and medevac, it's okay,
he just got all the tumors.
Cool. Yeah, that was pretty nice, but still not. I would say still not important.
It's not important, but he does importantly get all the live tumors, so the Queens are gonna have to drop brand new ones if they want to continue creep spread. Yeah,
I just wonder if transfuses are gonna be a big deal in this upcoming fight.
Yeah, it's always a maybe, maybe not with this, because I feel like of all the games of StarCraft we cast, sometimes the transfuses are exactly on point, and then the other 50% of the time, Queens are dead with 180 energy, and you're like, why?
Usually the first push, the first drop from the Terran is pushed back so easily. It's so expected, it's so, you know, practiced against that they don't need transfuses, but... You know, starting off with the Reaper does mix up the game and, you know, confuse a little bit. Also, we have sort of really... This is not something you would do at all
I love this.
Before the recent patch, which is going straight for those Hydras.
He's busy chasing the Reapers, realizing now that he's out of position. These double drops get in the main. Nothing to really push them out just yet. And some of the Reapers would come back and just rally too far away to go home.
Mm-hmm. This always looks so good, and then you realize unless they can actually kill like 20 drones or a building, it's like, man, it might even be worse than a frontal push where you unloaded and then push into the 3rd, for instance.
Maybe. I mean, he didn't lose anything for it though. So
no, he didn't. But it just, I actually like, well...
Speaking of frontal pushes, gonna get 2 Overlords.
Yeah.
This is a pretty big supply block for SortOf at this point, who was just about ready to make a ton of Hydralisks. 9 Overlords rallied up now. I guess that's one way to spend your money.
Never supply blocked again, yeah. The thing about dropping, whether it's the early game, mid game, or late game, is that there are Terrans who certainly overinvest into the drops. And they think like, wow, I'm dropping every which way. It's so amazing. It's actually not. Either they're losing the army or the drone kills actually aren't there. You know, we see only 2 drones have been killed, but you think maybe you got more. So I would definitely say that Kelazhur, that might be still his biggest weakness. A lot of other Terrans have gotten kind of like over that phase of just mass dropping and then dying to ultras, basically. But Kelazhur is still like, he likes to be aggressive, and it makes him a really fun Terran player to watch, but it also means he kind of falls in that pit, that trap more often than other Terrans nowadays. And now that Hydras are back in, it's also going to be like even more likely his medevacs will get sniped.
Yeah, I guess that was the nice thing about the old way to play. If they were going to allow Roaches and Ravagers, like, yes, you'd still lose medevacs to corrosive biles, but it required like fungals and things to reach for. Now you just have like the auto attack. Hydras with 7 range. So good luck with that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Queens did a decent job, obviously, but they were still not quite the same as the Hydras. I actually don't know about Kelazhur right now. He's once again behind in upgrades. He does not have that high tank count. Like, 2 tanks is really not that scary, even in a really good position. 5 tanks in a decent position could actually just straight up end the game if they don't take a correct engagement. But just with 2, as he pushes through the middle with a decent drop to the right side, I think that SortOf's gonna have enough army to deal with this. And he's gonna have all his upgrades on his Hydras too.
Well, Liberator manages to sneak around and camp above the natural base. Hydra's going to be required to pull back and deal with this. 4 drones go down, and of course a lot of denied mining. The attempt to intercept out of Kelazhur is really interesting because SortOf, while he might send some Hydras to the natural, isn't going to have anything to defend the main. And 4 drops worth of units can easily pick off this layer. In fact, the infestation pit might even die too. Killing the spawning pool, I feels like, whatever. Go over the layers, the big snipe though. Oh man, he wants this so badly, but he decides to wrap around. It picks up, gets out of there. That's going to buy him a lot of time, and Hive-Tech/Vipers now are going to be denied for a while. Hydras are going to pick one of the medevacs off. That range is ridiculous.
I was going to say, I'm surprised they didn't take the other one down, but I guess there wasn't just, barely not enough Hydras, and the +2 wasn't quite done either. This is still a question of, was it enough damage? If he loses the army now, he does dip down in supply by a good 30. And getting a layer, it halts his Hive-Tech, it halts the Vipers, but his Roach Hydra army is still good.
Right, this for me is like, if there's more emphasis on the tanks, that pickoff is massive because it stops the Vipers. Yeah. So, hallelujah, tanks will be God, but he's only got a couple.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that would have been, like, if he had 5-6 tanks right now, when they took that as an opportunity to push forward, even 30 army supply down, I think the tanks would have, like, made up for that.
Oh, come on. He's got to get ready for this fight. Comes on in, but the Corsair Gear is going to land on top of the tanks. First one goes down pretty easily, but he takes out so many of the Roaches, there's nothing to protect those Hydras, and Bio can still chew through those squishy DPS glass cannons.
Yeah, the same way that Kelazhur wasn't quite ready to take an engagement, I would say it sort of wasn't either. Like, his Roaches weren't all on the front line, and then of course they did die pretty quickly to even 1 tank shooting at them, and he was pretty clumped up too. There was definitely a better potential fight for SortOf there. Is, obviously you're going to pounce on a Terran that doesn't have their siege tanks sieged, and now suddenly the army supply has gone reverse. Kelazhur's ahead now.
It's also really important to note SortOf has not started a new layer yet, so he's not going to be anywhere close to Hive anytime soon. This is a bit of a problem because if it is going to come down to these siege tanks, Roaches and Hydras alone will not deal with it. Yeah. I mean, Hydras maybe if there's no bio protecting them, but at the same time, like, Kelazhur is going to be sieging up from far enough away. The Roaches should be getting melted. Do those creep tumors look really bright?
Yes, the ones being made.
Yeah, they look exceptionally bright.
Yeah. SortOf definitely needs to wait for his reinforcements to deal with this. In fact, he might have to get the 4th base while waiting for those reinforcements. He's trying to harass the 4th base right now, but unfortunately it's already a planetary, so it's not best at all, and actually like Marauder comes down and deals with it. Yeah.
I like the dance out of Kelazhur too. He's being very careful with these Marines. He doesn't know what to expect. I don't think he realizes that Hive-Tech just doesn't exist. If he did, this would be so easy to push up with those tanks. So he's going to leapfrog ahead with a couple of them. The hatchery should die here any moment. There's not a lot of bio though, so the concern is like the Hydra still have a lot of range, a lot of damage. He's got to fight with the tanks. The tanks now involved with the fight. Not going to get the base, but losing on so much of the army protecting said tanks. Here comes the reinforcements though. Maybe, just maybe, Kelazhur powers through.
Yeah, I think he does power through, and SortOf not going to be able to get enough of an army right now. Like, the Hydras are decent, but they need to be protected. But as the Roaches come out in small numbers, the tanks are just totally obliterating them. That's going to be it.
GG. I'm wondering if, like, that was one of the situations where when the layer got sniped, he's like, I'm too far behind in terms of, like, time Not necessarily army, but in terms of time to get a new layer, then a new hive. Because, man, when tanks don't have something to counter them like blinding clouds, they are ridiculous.
Yeah, they're pretty good. Yeah, I think he definitely overcommitted to that one attack, maybe thinking just that he had to all in. Well, that's gonna take us to ace match.
Yeah, game 3 coming up. We'll see you guys soon. Alright guys, we're back for game number 3, and I didn't realize that Kelazhur was using Beyond's portrait this whole time, so maybe embracing the Terran within, the god that is Beyond. I do want to note that he is going to be playing next versus Mana, and I am really curious to see where Beyond sets us up as far as what players are doing in StarCraft right now, but I'm liking seeing bio out of this guy in the top left from Root Gaming. It's the Red Terran, Kelazhur.
In the bottom right, as the blue Zerg, he is SortOf.
And we have someone in chat asking, is this the first series still? Yes. So there's 2 best of 3s that determine winners and losers bracket. Of course, the grand finals. You guys are watching the first best of 3 of the day still. It's gone to the ace match, and I am really curious how this goes on King Sejong Station. First off, thank you, Dovin Wolf, for the 100 bits. Love to see it, man. But this is a game where I think for SortOf, like, the Roach Hydra worked really well in game 1. It fell a little bit flat in game 2. Is he confident enough to go for it in game 3? Or does he start using those brand new banelings with all the extra health? I mean, this is bio, not mech. Banelings are actually maybe not a terrible idea.
I have a feeling SortOf just goes Roach Hydra again, so it's kind of just thinking on it.
I'm trying to remember, wasn't he a Roach Hydra player back in HOTS anyways?
Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up. He played Roach Hydra in HOTS, even on the maps that necessarily weren't that great for him. At the time, they weren't that great. So I think he probably is happy that it's brought back, and it was a case where he won with one and lost with the other. And the other, like last game's loss, a lot of that can be contributed to the loss of the lair, and a poor split is what led to the loss of the lair, because he was actually, like, I think seconds away from getting a good split. I saw on the mini map he was trying to basically like split up his army, but unfortunately they were also clumped up. He was on his way, and then it just a little too late to save the lair. That little change up, and combined with the fact that it's no longer frozen temple, he has to deal with the 3x Reaper initially.
Ooh.
He has to worry about that really short attack path. I think he just feels more confident going Roach Hydra.
So this is gonna be annoying for Kelazhur. He doesn't actually have anything at home to stop these 2 links from picking off that SCV. But a build cancel micro is all I can really do. Bring the Reaper back home, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like he's gonna lose the command center over, but it's always really annoying when this happens.
Yeah, exactly. It's super annoying, and it's always a little bit scary for the Terran when they realize that they didn't get the scout with the Reaper, and they're like, "Wait, is this being followed up with a Baneling bust?" It so rarely is. But it is that little bit of fear. The man just got the 3rd base actually, so he would definitely know there wasn't a follow-up I'd have to worry about.
I think paranoia in StarCraft can be healthy though. In some rare cases, you'll see like ZVZ or something where they'll make too many spine crawlers, and you're like, okay, that wasn't so good. But a lot of instances, being prepared doesn't exactly take away from your build, and just sometimes it's better off.
I mean, we see a lot more Terrans just keep the Reaper at home, for instance, and just keep it on patrol because the early 2 lings have come into full swing again in the meta.
Actually, I'm thinking the best instance of like paranoia paying off is when Zerg players just blindly put down spore crawlers with no scouting. Covers against DTs, covers against the Stargate openings. Like sometimes paranoia can be really good in StarCraft. Yeah,
paranoia can be good in real life too. It's what stops you from dying.
Yeah. Rustling in the bushes? Nah, it's probably nothing.
Let's just check it. Just go in there. Face check. Face checking in real life is highly suggested. MOBA joke. Okay, anyway. We do have a Roach one on the way, but obviously it's on a later time because sort of didn't have to worry about a 3x Reaper. He also, did get away with kind of pushing off that speed for a while. I'm even maybe a little bit surprised he bothered getting it. Speedlings are so useful, though, in like every stage of the game that I prefer getting it. Just that sometimes you would see the very extreme Roach Hydra players not even bother with it.
By the way, I love the jokes in chat about how no 3x Reaper, so it's GG already. I mean, the thing is, like, this is the single worst map to do 3x Reaper on. Running to the backside.
The fact that it has a Reaper ledge is just worse.
running to the backside, he gets an Overlord, which is kind of cool. Some stutters that might kill a good chunk of these lings. In fact, might get all the lings. Excuse me. Wow. This is a really good trade for Kelazhur. He's got more Marines rally through this, too.
They definitely shouldn't be... That was risky, basically. Like, if SortOf was actually prepared with 30 lings and he takes out half of the Marines and doesn't lose nearly as many lings, the supposed, like, powerful initial 2 medevac drop is obviously at half strength. You just have to worry. So I'm glad he didn't continue investing. He waited for the medevacs. He's going to get another Overlord, or... Okay, well, he probably should have. Okay, there we go, yeah. So one last Marine's going to get the last tap, but... that is not quite supply block, SortOf, and he was building roaches after losing those lings.
It does shut down scouting, though, which is going to be annoying for him. The back rocks haven't been taken down. Might be an advantage for Kelazhur more than for SortOf. We'll find out in a moment. Army supply from SortOf looks pretty good, but it is mostly roaches. Fake taking a wisecracks for that 1-year resub. Time for your Partoof coin, baby. Says you guys are literally the spirit of StarCraft. Thank you very much for the kind words, man.
With the Holy Spirit.
Alright, this drop's not going to go well. I don't like that he half drops and then like tries to go for a quake. It's a little bit awkward. Has to pick up and fly on out of there.
Yeah, he did save everything though. It's like, in this question too, is like, did he do anything to help his future attack? And I think that the answer is yes. He did clear up creep on the right side.
That Overlord scout was actually kind of important, the one that just died in the main. Part of that was Kelazhur had stimmed to try and stop it from seeing the 3rd CC. But now that SortOf has seen the fact that there's a 3rd CC down, knows it's not going to be a 2-base all-in, a little bit more calming for our Zerg player.
Yeah,
that
that's
true.
true.
Comfort to drone a little bit too behind this.
It's really nice to confirm that 3rd CC. The lack of extra production also, like, you know, he could have double-checked and realized too, but yeah, now he knows for sure. Because, I mean, initially it was kind of worrying, although I guess since his first Overlord died, he didn't know this, but if you see only one engineering bay, your first thought can be like, oh shit, he's going to follow up with tank drop, or tank pushes. They're no longer drops. But that wasn't actually what Kelazhur wanted to do. Whoopsie.
Well, 3rd CC is going to land itself over on the base, turn to planetary, or not planetary, an orbital in a moment. Although, some people are bad at StarCraft, such as myself, do enjoy making extra planetaries.
Yeah, that Bronze League tactic totally works.
Hey man, if you build a 3rd CC that's an orbital in the main, you could totally justify your 4th CC as planetary, okay?
Technically, yes. Anyway, so I really don't like the attack range upgrade icon for Hydras. It's just the missile attack upgrade in reverse.
Oh, inverse or whatever? You know, like the colors? Yeah, I can see that.
Well, the colors, but also like just they're pointing different directions, but they're like the same thing.
They're less spiky, okay? So it's very different.
I don't. It's not like terrible. It just like looks really dumb when they're beside each other. Anyway, whatever. Point is, it is Roach Hydra, obviously. Like opening up with the roaches, and then yeah, it seems that SortOf is just gonna try and not just go for Hydras, but like he's kind of like that last game. He kind of rushed to him, I would say. Not so much like rushes in like 5 minutes, right? But yeah, he did not play a big Roach game beforehand. He's really trying to get a lot of Hydras pretty quickly. Unfortunately, still have to wait for both upgrades. That was a decent way to kind of take away the huge buff that they had in the previous patch.
He's got so much control of this ramp. Gets a kill on the base, by the way, no cancel for SortOf. I love this though. Tanks are set up on the backside, but there's also, because there's no lings, there's no ban links, there's nothing to really flank from behind and catch Kelazhur off guard doing things like this.
Yeah, that was really nice, and SortOf didn't cancel that base either, so...
Yeah, that's a kill, straight up.
He's trying to get to Roach Hydra Viper, which is a very powerful composition. I don't mind it, but of course last game it was stalled out by the lair going down. Hopefully it doesn't repeat that. And this means that also, like, there's like, it kind of... This is kind of harking back to the Heart of the Swarm and maybe even a little bit of Wings of Liberty, but there was kind of like 2 ways to play. You could max out on Roach Hydra and try and win and then maybe follow up with Vipers, or you could play like the tech path, which is to get the Vipers pretty quickly and take advantage of what was sometimes a very turtly Terran who was like too scared to push out. Obviously, SortOf going for pretty fast tech. If Kelazhur, well, first he has to scan and recognize that, but if he does, then he should feel comfortable, like, knowing he's not going to take damage, basically. Like, SortOf's never going to feel comfortable moving out until that hive is done and until those Vipers have energy. Like, the fact that he's in the middle of the map right now is a little surprising, but I guess he knows that Kelazhur's army won't be in the middle.
By the little bit of I know sarcasm in chat, but people are saying wishes was 2-0 so we can see Beyond faster. I really want to see Beyond too, but what I'm loving is seeing Bio out of Kelazhur, considering the only thing we've been seeing on like player streams / tournament games we've been casting has been Mac, and it's been really cool seeing Bio play differently. So love it or hate it, guys. I'm enjoying seeing how this measures up in the matchup, and it's looking pretty viable, in all honesty.
Yeah, I think TvZ Bio is still the way to go. Again, inherent bias against Mech TvZ, but just like, I'm pretty sure TvT is gonna have to be Mech, unfortunately. Well, and TvP might still have like a fun aspect of Mech, but
so
I don't
I'm
like
jaded.
it for Zerg.
I'm really jaded because I want to see, and we're not seeing any of the Mech Terran players take it to the skies. But forget battlecruisers and Rifkin's hype for them. I am curious how the new ranged Hydras will measure up to Liberators. And if you remember, like when Terran players would go Sky Mech and you'd have like those Liberators set up, Hydras did nothing in the past. He's going to fall back from this location, try and stim away. It's not a bad choice. Liberator's going to have to sacrifice himself to buy a little bit of time. Bio's going to turn around on it now. Of course, the Bio's come down, but missed pretty much everything.
Yeah.
But he did
sort
beat
of, by the
sort
way,
of off creep.
Yeah, hey, I just want to do that. And right before his upgrades finished, too. But it's sort of, the risk that he posed, basically, when he attacked into that natural was he could have been counterattacked or dropped. And he was, but he kept a good chunk of units behind, so definitely aware that that last game went south because he didn't split quite correctly, didn't have the defenses back at home, and it's certainly fixed that aspect. So now that he has this, what could be called a perfect Zerg army with this composition, Roach, Hydra, and Vipers, and decent upgrades, he just didn't, his goal was basically not to let Kelazhur get into a decent position, which unfortunately did happen anyway.
Yeah.
I don't think that Kelazhur should have stayed, though. I don't know. The Blinding Clouds don't happen.
He actually shreds the Viper, so it's not a problem. However, that being said, staying's still going to cost him quite a bit, but he is going to get most of SortOf's army.
Wow.
GG. Kelazhur takes the series 2-1.
If any Blinding Clouds come down right there, like, I feel his day is just ruined.
Well, I think, for me, what's interesting about that was... the fight itself, like, okay, let's say Blinding Clouds do go down, right? They hit the tanks and even some of the bio. They're still the Liberators. So maybe you abducted the Liberators instead, but then you don't have the energy for the Blinding Clouds. Like, there's a lot of very awkwardness there that was going to go down for the Vipers either way, and I couldn't tell you which would have been the best option. But it's cool to see, considering we had both Terran players fall to the loser bracket in the previous group. It's nice to see a Terran player go to the winner's match for once.
Yeah, I'm really glad we got to see Bio versus Roach Hydra. I'm glad that they both wanted to play like that, because that just that convinces me that Bio is, I can't say it's the better one, of course, we need more games to watch, but that it looks pretty good. Yeah, it's nice.
I think we stay in North America though for the next one, so it's gonna be Beyond versus Mana, Korea versus Europe, so we'll be getting to that series as soon as we can. They are taking usually about 5-minute breaks between best of threes, what was happening last time, so I'm presuming that's going to happen again this time. I would like to take a moment, though, to sincerely thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you're enjoying the show, and we'll be back in a few minutes with some extended break time. Super Saiyan 2 says, by the way, I play the Zul'jin server as well. Nice, dude. I'm in the guild Erudite, and my druid's name is simply just BaseTradeTV, so if you ever want to hit me up for some dungeons, World of Warcraft stuff. Anyways, we'll be back in a bit, guys. Thanks for watching.